What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports Max, you guys, with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl contenders for the 2019 NFL season. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they suffered the injury bug really bad. And anytime that you lose two Pro Bowlers on your defense is going to be significantly worse. They lost Deion Jones, who is starting to become one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He can do everything. He can cover. He's a very good tackler. Very big piece of that Atlanta Falcons defense. He missed a lot of games last season. And then, let's not forget, they lost Keon O'Neal, who was on his way, in my opinion, to becoming a top 10 safety in the NFL. So not only did they lose two key pieces on their defense, but they also lost Devontae Freeman, who is one of the better halfbacks in the NFL. So they lost three big players on their team. Now you get those guys coming back. Deion Jones already played in a couple of games after he came back from injury last season. Now you get Keon O'Neal back. Now you get Devontae Freeman back. You get those three guys back. On top of improved offensive line, I think the Atlanta Falcons not making the playoffs was a good thing. Because now they were able to get better. Not only did they get better, but they're a way better team than what they were last season. And they were already a really talented team before the injury bug striked and ended their season, or basically derailed their season. Now they fixed the offensive line. They drafted two offensive linemen in this year's NFL draft. They drafted Chris Lindstrom, who I felt was the best offensive lineman in this draft. And they drafted Caleb McGarry. So they drafted two offensive linemen in the first round. And both of those two guys are projected to start for the Atlanta Falcons when week 1 of the NFL regular season rolls around. So their offensive line is improved. And the offensive line is a big part. Like I say this so many times. If you want to win the Super Bowl or compete for the Super Bowl and go far in the NFL and win games, despite how the NFL always puts the emphasis on the wide receivers and the running backs and the cornerbacks and this and that, you still, if you want to win in the NFL, you have to win up front. And the Atlanta Falcons addressed that. They improved the offensive line. Now that offense is stacked. Before I even get to the defense, that offense is freaking phenomenal. They already have one of the best wide receiving corps in the NFL. It doesn't get any better than the Atlanta Falcons. They have Julio Jones, arguably the best wide receiver in the game. You can either say him or Antonio Brown. You can both make a good argument for both. But for the sake of this video, let's just say that Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the NFL. Then you got Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu, he's a pretty good slot receiver. One of the better slot receivers in the NFL. I think he's pretty underrated. He's pretty solid. Then you have Calvin Ridley, who was the best rookie wide receiver from last season. Dude went ham in the second half of the 2018 NFL season. Then you get Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper went to the Pro Bowl last year. I didn't even know that until I was researching facts for this video. Austin Hooper was a Pro Bowler last year. Then you have Matt Ryan back there. Then you have Devontae Freeman coming back. That offense is loaded. And the offensive line is going to be pretty good this year. So that Atlanta Falcons offense, on top of having Matt Ryan, who is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, one of the best QBs that we have in the league right now, that offense is stacked. That offense is going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. I guarantee the Atlanta Falcons will have at least a top 10 offense this season. If not top 10, most definitely a top 5 offense because they are loaded. And it's pretty hard to find the offense with this much firepower on it. You got Austin Hooper, like I already mentioned. He went to the Pro Bowl last season. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley. That offense is stacked. Then we get to the defense. You're getting Keon O'Neal back. You're getting Ricardo Allen. That's a very good safety tandem back there. Then you still have Desmond Trufant, who is he's okay. Then you have Vic Beasley. Now Vic Beasley Dan Quinn has promised that he was going to work Vic Beasley so hard this offseason and get him back to the shape that he was, the form that he was in 2016 when he had over 15 sacks. Dude was an absolute monster that year in 2016. That's the year the Atlanta Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Dan Quinn says that he is going to make sure that Vic Beasley returns to that form. And after this offseason, Vic Beasley is either going to hate him or he's going to love him. I think that's a big part. This Atlanta Falcons defense is going to be really good. Then you get Deion Jones back fully healthy. That defense for Atlanta is going to be pretty doggone good. Let's not forget Grady Jarrett. Yeah, you guys thought I forgot about him. I didn't forget about Grady Jarrett. Jarrett Grady is a beast. I almost mispronounced his name. He is a phenomenal defensive tackle in the NFL. He can get after the passer and can also clog up the running lanes as well. This Atlanta Falcons team is really scary. And I think they have the potential to win the NFC South. I think they can pretty much beat the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be really good this year. But I think the Falcons are going to be able to win the NFC South because they have an easier schedule than what the New Orleans Saints have. The New Orleans Saints have a pretty tough schedule. So in my predictions for the Atlanta Falcons, my record predictions, I had them going 12-4 and getting a bye week. I think the Atlanta Falcons are a pretty doggone good team. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons suffered an injury bug really, really bad. They lost 3 Pro Bowlers. 3. Anytime you lose 3 of your best players, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. Despite how many good bench players you have and how good your coaching is, you're going to suffer if you lose 3 of your best players on your team. The Atlanta Falcons are getting those guys back. Plus, they upgraded the offensive line. So this Atlanta Falcons team is a better football team than what they were last season. And they were already a pretty doggone good football team last season before the injury bug hit. So now the Atlanta Falcons, they're playing in the NFC South. You got the Saints, you got the Panthers, and you got Tampa. I believe the Atlanta Falcons can win it. I think, in my opinion, they're a more talented team than the New Orleans Saints. Might sound crazy, but when you think about the New Orleans Saints wide receiving core, other than Michael Thomas, can you give me another wide receiver that has been pretty consistent other than Michael Thomas on that New Orleans Saints offense? You can't. The Atlanta Falcons have a better receiving core. Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan, let's not act like he's not a top 10 quarterback. They have a very solid offensive line now, and their defense, I think their defense is a lot better than the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints defense looks pretty good on paper, but when it comes time to play elite offenses, the New Orleans Saints defense gives up a lot of points against elite offenses. We saw it against Pittsburgh. They gave up a lot of points there. The Atlanta Falcons defense actually shows up and is able to get stops in big games. And that's what I like. Dan Quinn, he knows how to build a good defense. That defense is going to be very good this season, and that defense is going to be a big reason why Atlanta competes for a Super Bowl this year. I think the Atlanta Falcons are underrated. I don't know why people keep on talking about the New Orleans Saints and the LA Rams. The LA Rams lost 3 starters on their defense. They brought in Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle. Eric Weddle, he's a pretty good player. He's a Pro Bowler. He went to the Pro Bowl a season back. I think he went this past season. You got Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews isn't what he used to be. He's old. So you lost 3 starters on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think the LA Rams are going to be as good as everybody else is hyping them up to be. I still think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are better because I think the Atlanta Falcons are a more complete team. And really the only 3 teams that really match up the Atlanta Falcons on paper, talent-wise, are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And you can throw in the New Orleans Saints there, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are better than the New Orleans Saints. The Atlanta Falcons are a Super Bowl contender. Whether you like them or not, the Atlanta Falcons are legit. I think the Atlanta Falcons can compete for a Super Bowl this year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. They really suffered the injury bug. A lot of teams suffer the injury bug, and fans use that as an excuse. But Atlanta Falcons lost 3 Pro Bowlers. 3 of the best players on their team. Now you're getting those guys back on top of the talent that you drafted in this year's NFL draft. The Atlanta Falcons are a better team than what they were last season. And that's crazy because they were already a good team. I'm not saying the Atlanta Falcons are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I'm saying that they have a doggone good chance of winning it. The Atlanta Falcons are really good this year. And that's why I think the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl contenders for the 2019 NFL season. Let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos, NFL content. And thanks for watching.